On June 24th, 2018, what should have been a day of celebration quickly turned into horror. Cindy Bettina Testerman was supposed to spend her 62nd birthday surrounded by her family, but by evening her son Robert grew worried when she didn't answer repeated calls. He was close to his mother after his father's death, and silence from her was unusual. Concerned, he drove to her home on Roseland Avenue in Maryland, unaware that his life was about to change forever.
What was the address of the emergency?
My mother is dead, and I came over to check on her. She is lying on the floor in the kitchen. I believe she was either assaulted.
The moment he stepped inside, an unsettling odour filled the air, and he immediately noticed a shotgun lying on the kitchen table, an ominous sign that something was terribly wrong. The house felt eerily silent. As he moved through the rooms calling out for his mother, there was no response. His fear grew unbearable, and when he reached the kitchen, the nightmare revealed itself. There, on the floor, was Cindy. Her body was drenched in blood, the result of brutal trauma inflicted by an edged weapon. Blood spattered across the tiles and surfaces told the story of a violent and merciless attack. Robert panicked, rushed back outside and contacted authorities. When police arrived, they entered cautiously, knowing there were firearms in the home. But beyond the tragedy of Cindy's death, they discovered another deadly threat: the strong smell of gas lingering in the air. It became clear that the suspect had tampered with the gas line, possibly intending to ignite an explosion that could have killed anyone entering the home. This was no ordinary crime scene. What investigators had on their hands was not just the murder of a 62-year-old woman, but a carefully staged setup designed to cause even more destruction. Cindy's death was the opening chapter to a far darker and more twisted story than anyone could have imagined. Once Cindy's body was recovered and the house secured, investigators began piecing together what had happened. The interior of the home was in disarray, drawers pulled open, belongings scattered across the floor, and a safe toppled from its usual place. Jewellery and other valuables were missing, along with Cindy's 2013 Honda Accord. To detectives, it appeared that robbery was the likely motive, but the sheer brutality of the attack suggested something far more personal. They questioned Robert, who explained that the last time he spoke with his mother was a few days earlier, and that she had texted him on Friday without getting a response. His cooperation and grief led detectives to rule him out, but he did have something crucial: access to Cindy's home security footage. The recordings revealed a disturbing lead. A young man, unknown to Robert, was seen casually conversing with Cindy inside her home. He appeared comfortable, coming and going multiple times, and was last seen leaving in her car on the very day she was murdered. This immediately raised suspicions that the killer had gained Cindy's trust before turning on her. Meanwhile, neighbours provided conflicting accounts. Some mentioned another woman in the area, Judy Elizabeth Zack, who hadn't been seen for months. While some claimed she was in rehab, others had no idea where she'd gone. The eerie absence of Judy, a 66-year-old who lived directly across the street, presented investigators with a chilling possibility. Two elderly women, both living alone, both suddenly unaccounted for. What began as a single homicide was now unfolding into something larger, stranger, and more sinister. As detectives pursued leads in Cindy's case, Judy's unexplained disappearance loomed like a shadow over the investigation. Neighbours recalled seeing her occasionally, but their stories clashed. Some insisted it had been weeks, others months since she was last around. Almost all repeated the same rumour, that Judy was in rehab, but no one had concrete proof. The uncertainty raised red flags.
On Judy at all?
No, she is not around.
I can't seem to come up with her.
Her stepson, his first name is Ryan. That's his name, Ryan. I don't know his last name, but I found his first name, Ryan. And she was gone for weeks, or about a week or so, and I was told that she had gone into a rehab. I do believe she has a substance abuse problem because she has some health issues, and I think she was abusing some Percocets. But that's only rumors from the neighborhood. That's when Ryan showed up again, and he was there, and he kind of told them, I'm here now, I'll take care of her. And we didn't see her except to hear a rumor that she went into rehab again.
Police canvassed her home but found no immediate signs of life and no one answered the door. What unsettled investigators even more was learning about Judy's stepson, Ryan Maguire. Neighbours said he had appeared at her home claiming he would take care of her, but afterward, Judy was never seen again. With suspicion mounting, detectives dug into Ryan's background. Records revealed a troubled past, including burglary and drug abuse, and when they pulled up his old mugshots, the resemblance was chilling. Ryan looks strikingly similar to the man caught on Cindy's surveillance footage, casually strolling through her house before driving away in her car. At this point, police feared they weren't dealing with just a burglary gone wrong. Instead, the pattern hinted at something much darker, a predator moving freely between two vulnerable women who lived only steps apart. What they didn't yet know was just how far Ryan's twisted acts had already gone. The investigation took a sharp turn when Cindy's missing car was spotted in the city, occupied by 3 people. Officers stopped the vehicle, suspecting they had finally caught the killers, but the frightened family inside explained they had recently bought the car, claiming they had no idea it was stolen. They gave police one crucial detail. They purchased it from a man known only as Bird. That vague lead didn't provide much, until detectives connected it with the surveillance footage and the neighbours' warnings. Bird was none other than Ryan Maguire, and when Cindy's stolen credit cards began racking up charges at local stores and even a motel, the investigation zeroed in on him. Detectives rushed to the motel and found Judy's car parked outside. Inside the room, registered under Ryan's girlfriend's name, they discovered Cindy's checkbook, Judy's financial documents, piles of jewellery, and brand new sneakers bought with the stolen cards. Even more damning, they found a knife and shoes stained with Cindy's blood. Ryan was finally arrested outside the motel. Calm and composed, he showed no fear. He didn't protest his arrest, didn't plead innocence. Instead, he sat in silence, as though he had been expecting this moment all along. What detectives didn't yet realize was that Ryan was about to reveal something far worse than they imagined. At the station, detectives prepared for the usual uphill battle. Hours of questioning, denials, and half-truths before a suspect finally slipped up. But Ryan Maguire wasn't like most suspects. From the moment he sat down, he leaned forward and told them flat out. He did it. He killed Cindy and Judy. No hesitation, no excuses, no attempt to cover his tracks. He confessed as if it was the most natural thing to do. Ryan described in chilling detail how he had lured Cindy into trusting him, then attacked her with a knife in a fit of rage, stabbing her repeatedly before leaving her body in her apartment. Judy, he explained, was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. When she discovered him, he panicked, fearing she would call the police and stabbed her too. To Ryan, it was all matter of fact, told with a calmness that unsettled the detectives across the table. What made the confession even more disturbing was how open he was. He didn't just admit to the killings, he admitted to rifling through their things, stealing their money and joyriding in their cars. Most criminals fight until the very end, insisting on their innocence. Ryan, however, laid everything bare, as though he wanted them to know exactly what he had done. And as detectives listened, they realized something. Ryan Maguire was not only confessing, he was reliving his crimes, with no sign of remorse in his voice. He was sentenced to 2 life sentences in prison